This is a story about a beautiful spirit on an epic journey. John K.
I'm busting through particles. Deep space feels like inverted energy. This is not your typical road movie. I'm traveling to Mars and I'm traveling alone. They thought it would be better that way. As I float in the inconceivable distance, I can still see the blue-green Earth. But we all like to wallow in self-pity and submit ourselves to the torpor of disillusionment. John K. 102.
General Tip, Scanlon's office.
I'd like to become the top candidate for the launch to Mars.
We appreciate your generous offer, but don't be ridiculous.
I am not panning for gold. I'm offering myself as a sacrifice. I'd like to be the first to die in the name of this country's attempt to rekindle one of humankind's loftier pursuits. Exploration. Is this not the beginning of a brave new world?
Let me speak to my superior. Please hold. Mr.
John K. Mercury. John K. 103. Mercury, after careful consideration, we'd like to offer you the opportunity to be the first man on Mars. You're a remarkable candidate for this deadly mission. Potentially, that is. It's all calculation and hopeful speculation, and you'll be gone for a very long time. More like forever. Whatever forever is. I'm on a suicide mission, whether I live or die. Nothing has meaning, just a vacuum within and without. One begins to understand the logic of a teenage suicide over an outbreak of acne. In the realm of what matters, why should one thing matter less than another? Mercury, may I ask a question before you...
Shoot.
Why on earth would you want to do this? Are you implying that normal people can't be heroes? No, certainly not. Besides, what is normal? Still, Mercury, you have to admit, you are placing yourself at risk. Isn't life precious to you? Not if you aren't living. I've orbited this planet for far too many hours. Its association with the sun is vastly different from Earth's. It seems incredible that Mars might once have supported life. I'm floating, and although I have previously been appalled by what it is to be human, dear reader, even I maintain essential human needs, such as the need for gravity. It's a blessed albatross. Why on earth would you want to do this? I wish to be a chance hero. John K. 104. There are two windows in this vessel, one that looks ahead and one that looks behind. Behind me is the green-blue planet. Ahead, nothing, or more aptly, nothingness. Try to fathom it. I haven't eaten for the past 24 hours. I'm enjoying the void in my stomach. It seems to balance the vacuum of the room that isn't a room, only trapped oxygen. It is space that leans on itself. How strange to be alone while feeling cramped by my own presence. John Mercury, I presume. You're not at all what I expected. I mean, hell, I'm looking at Flash Gordon, and I presume the joke is at my expense? No. Just my way of marveling at what sci-fi movies don't get right. It is impossibly quiet as I persist in a dull state of disbelief over my achievement. I manifested the most preposterous dream of the century. I overrode all those worthy astronauts, the talented and the brave. Why? Because scientists respect a healthy amount of insanity, and this mission is a certain kind of suicide. Nothing matters to me. I have nothing. I suppose I am nothing. Mercury, we'd like you to take a few tests. Nothing too complicated. We're interested in your IQ. I belong to Mensa. You needn't talk down. I hadn't finished. We want to test you for IQ and EQ, etc. These days, genius IQs are a dime a dozen. What matters is what you do with genius, right? After all, people who have genius can be trapped by it. In short, they have no perspective and lack vital common sense, which is tops in an astronaut. With that in mind, Mercury, a few questions. How would you feel if you were in a foreign country and completely unable to communicate? There are always structural signs. I'm going to a lifeless planet, but for the sake of argument and the hypothetical, what we can't know but must anticipate, my answer would be that were I to meet a so-called extraterrestrial, and all things being equal, wouldn't that being have a mutual interest in communicating with me? Unless, of course, E.T. coveted me for my flavor. When you take yourself into a place of strangers, you'll either be embraced or eaten. Well, Mercury, that about covers it. I've been on this ship for such a long time. Ground continues to communicate, although I wish they would lead me to my thoughts. I feel like I haven't had space to think all these years, and now the breadth of my thinking time here in this airtight pod is decidedly finite and still. Christ. Down there, the world wouldn't leave me to my thoughts. Always someone else's mental tyranny. In the dark of this pressureless space as I float in the cosmic box, I feel I'm at the heart of everything. Am I enclosed within walls, within walls, within walls? Am I in the center of the infinite, or the center of my infinite? Will I die on this mission? No. I am a motorcyclist in a hailstorm recklessly speeding by the grace of a slipstream. John K. 105. I'm lonely, but not as lonely as I was on Earth. All those days where there was no human interaction, no good mornings, no hellos, just the car, the phone, the script of my life, indelibly printed onto the fabric of my life. I've always hated the color beige. The grind is the grind is the grind, and then, somewhere in the middle of it, I realized I had stopped looking into people's eyes. We've lost the people who knew us. We've lost the community that embraced us. Instead, we recall what it must have been like once. We watch wizened black and white films of yesteryear sentiment and cry for something we've never known but suspect our parents knew. Everything falls away. Family and friends eventually roam and disperse. Our children evaporate in their inner trajectories while building their data profiles to sit in a virtual suburb of data profiles. But there's no community in that.
Mercury, are you there?
Where else?
We're having some technical issues. Is cabin temperature maintaining?
It veers from the norm, but not uncomfortably. I feel warm and fuzzy all over. I continue to float in the in-between. Is this what death is? Does all that which represented whomever we were, all those negative and positive ions, evaporate? When it does, will it spread like the air, finely particulate, until it blends into the infinitesimal? Will it linger and wait, functioning within its essence, an essence that embraces worlds and histories? Are we as finite as our bodies, or as infinite as our minds?
Mercury, do you read me?
My God, you're a woman.
I beg your pardon?
It's been forever since I've spoken to a woman.
That's rather objectifying and worrying.
That is objective without objectifying. Whatever vessel holds the spirit of a woman cannot disguise it.
Mercury, there are several things that require immediate attention.
Tell me, when were you hired?
I've always been here.
But I've not spoken to you before.
Different shift. Now please, Mercury, there are a few things that must be dealt with immediately.
I don't care. They can wait. I want to revel in the sound of a woman's voice.
All right. What should I say?
Anything.
I've got it. It's from To Have or Have Not. You know that movie?
Of course. Bogart and Bacall.
I love Bacall. She was unafraid.
Surely you're not afraid.
No. But we live in fragile times.
John K. 106. We're still brutes. Only now we're equipped with egos, words, and magnificent weapons. Did the prehistoric person have an ego, or is ego a product of evolution? Just like modern man, prehistoric people had pets, sex toys, drugs, alcohol. But their environment humbled them. Living in large and profound outside spaces brings a sense of oneness with everything, instead of oneness with oneself. I can almost hear the chaos from where I sit. I hear the persistent struggle of the individual clamoring to be heard among a tribe of loners, all of whom are screaming in an angry babble. We preach, screech, and rage. As we approach the unknown challenges of the future, we long for the way we were, more human.
Mercury, TV4 is waiting transmission from the pod. Are you ready?
I've always hated TV. Will LaDonna be there? The planet is not only in my sight, it is close enough to feel. I'm afraid. Of what? Myself? Come on, John, we're good friends. I and me. Besides, what makes you think this thing won't land? I'm an eternal optimist with pessimistic tendencies. The ever-bloated cynicism of the new millennium has gotten the better of my faith in good stuff happening. But that's also because I've lost touch with what is good. I'm not a loner. I'm not a misanthrope. It's just that we're all becoming antisocial hermits via the lure of our sanctuaries. We all have them. The internet, our homes, our cars, our phones, our pandemics, to name a few.
John, are you there?
Where else? You called me John.
That is your name, isn't it?
He, him, she, her, they, them, it, sometimes nothing. What's in a name? Would you do me a favor? Would you pinch me? What was I thinking? Life is grand, yes, grand, despite our increasingly unnuanced language. Life's essence is greater than the sum of all parts because it is the sum of all parts. I wish I could make every person on the planet do this, what I'm doing. My God, how different the world would be. Are you there?
Do you mean me? Of course I am, John. I couldn't leave you, not now. But my colleagues tell me I'm looking a little ragged these days.
Doubtful.
You can't know that.
I feel your beauty. I hear your beauty. I don't need to look at someone to know they're beautiful. John K. 108. It's a long way down.
Ground to Mars 1, do you read me?
It's you again. Where have you been? It seems like weeks since we've spoken.
Speaking to you is not my only function here, Mercury.
John, you've called me that before. Come now, I don't even know your name.
Forthright. You can call me Forthright.
Astonishing.
John, you realize that there are 3 others in your wake. Vessels, that is. Perhaps you would like to continue orbiting until you have some company. One is only a month behind. The polymer matrix composites used in the construction of the ship have lightened your load and make this kind of thing possible.
No, they are strangers. Maybe I'm just dreaming all of this. Maybe I'll wake up tomorrow and enjoy a bowl of Cheerios? Is reincarnation really a possibility? If so, will fish and rice replace my Cheerios? Will I loathe all dairy and ascribe to a religion that renounces eating cow or pig? Or will I be that cow or pig en route to slaughter, cooked, eaten, and eaten by people who bear no gratitude for my sacrifice? Will I return to a century ahead, or will I go back in time? Funny how reincarnation has captured the imagination of the world. Desperate hope.
Mercury, try to stay positive.
About what?
The unknown? The adventure?
This is not the unknown, Forthright. Love is the unknown.
Have you ever been in love?
Can't you tell?
I don't know you well enough.
Yes, you do, and yes, you know my answer. And the answer is no. I have not been in love.
How would I know that?
You sense I'm running away from life. Fair enough, but one only runs when one is afraid.
There are many different kinds of love. Surely you've experienced at least one of them. The love of a parent or a pet.
I'm an orphan and there were no pets in the foster home.
Oh.
Go ahead. Laugh. I'm pathetic, but such ironies do exist. I sense you speak from the privileged point of view of someone who had a childhood. I don't begrudge you that. I celebrate it. Just remember that to experience love, you have to be willing to give it.
When you look back at Earth, John, what do you see?
Forthright, I see that the earth is a woman. John K. 109. I slept for a few hours. Sleep is a piece of heaven. I dreamt I took a walk down a downtown street in a downtown part of the city with a downtown like all downtowns. Downtowns are heaven. Streets are bustling, every corner brims with lively thoughts and deeds and the joy of moving to and from uncertain ends. Yet every person walks toward the day. The only pause in that overreaching marathon toward hope is lunch. Ah, lunch! Whether fish and chips or pastrami on rye, what a delightful interruption. In from the out, perhaps enjoying a hearty repast of bread and soup, maybe drowned by a leaden French wine in a French dive with checked tablecloths and maitre d's squeezed into windy corners behind doors opening out to streets ever moving, brisk with a cold that rouses you from your grapey stupor, saying, "I'm alive."
Mercury, we're concerned about your health.
I'm fine.
Well, what I mean is we're concerned about your mental health.
Where's Forthright?
She needed sleep.
So do I, my friend. So do I. I managed another couple of hours, but they were dreamless. I feel cheated. Dreams are the only place where I can conjure the feeling of Earth. Oh, Earth. Earth is heaven. I don't expect you to believe that. If you realized how lucky you are to breathe oxygen courtesy of green and blue, you would cherish it, keep it from harm's way, so that Earth's magic wouldn't suffer as it has. But then, if you knew how lucky you are, you would be more God than mortal. John K. 1:10. Are you there, Forthright?
Yes.
Ah,
Are you lonesome?
yes.
You don't sound like the man who first came to the mission.
I'm not. But few would care.
How do you know that?
Because I believe that humans are deaf and blind and ignorant by their own volition.
Do you think I'm all those things?
Yes, even you, Forthright, but you wear it charmingly.
I hope we'll meet someday.
Do you?
Yes, of course.
But why?
I'd like to give you a hug. John.
I'm here. I'm trying to conjure the joy in being touched. John K. 1:11. I am weightless, and yet the red mass seems to meet me with enormous speed. There's nothing that ensures my having a safe landing but overly confident reassurances from astrophysicists who are only as good as their ability to deduce. Faith has a value, but I am too riddled with fear to embrace it. What are the odds God exists? Taking all bets? I don't want to die. I don't know what's there. What if we are more than bundles of fibrous intelligence? That life is a continuum dotted with endless frontiers? What if we are eternal in our ever-evolving, ever-learning selves? What if we aren't? What if I can jump back into the chaos of another lifetime? Would I want to? Will I have forgotten what I was before, what I am now? Will I make the same mistakes all over again? Will I find forthright? Stop. When I entered this vessel, I had everything but doubt. Like you, I had an arrogance built on a life of the quotidian. All the stuff we love to hate about our lives, all that day in, day out of the ordinary, made me arrogant. I ask you, what's wrong with the unremarkable? Isn't there something lovely about the morning ritual of discussing what's for dinner over coffee? Or the stories told after a morning walk with the dogs, or the meaningless conversations with the checkout person at a local grocery, or even the dreaded chore of washing dishes. Wherever I'm going, it won't be life. It won't have the happy flow of daily rituals in familiar places. It will be work while playing God in a creation game, attempting to make a barren planet green again. There will never be another Earth. I am a witless forger of my fate, a fate that should have been about touching a life, providing someone insight into their humanity, reminding whomever that all of us are everything. We are all. We are. John K. 1:12.
What do you see, John?
A sign. It reads, "For a good time, call Lorna."
Seriously, John, what lies ahead for humankind?
My dearest forthright, 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 forthright.
The journey continues with the episodic novel Mercury's Wake by Stephanie Vlahos, now available to read on Kindle.